Well, we've seen some significant movement. We have probably the most exciting news is China Mobile joining the party and launching the services now in this year. We also have AT&T and Verizon from North America joining the RCS leadership team last year. So we've really gone global. Whereas there's been a lot of momentum from Europe, we now see it in all of the other areas. And that's of course heartening and positive, extremely positive. We now have really all of the big players, pretty much all of them there or in the process of getting there. Combined, that's a total of 2.8 billion users. Not all of them RCS users, but reach. People we can directly reach via these operators and interconnecting them. That's huge, and this is the kind of momentum that we need. The Facebook acquisition of WhatsApp is something that there is so many theories about, lots of opinions out there. I have an opinion like anyone else, I suppose. I think what Facebook has done is bet 10% of the worth of their company on their own future. So they see that people are spending more time in messengers, they're sharing more pictures in messengers than online. So the whole social experience is moving into the communication experience, and I think what Facebook is doing is they're ensuring that they're not being overhauled by someone else, and by buying WhatsApp, Facebook is trying to ensure that they themselves are the next Facebook. For me, that's a valuable learning. For me, that's something that I reflect into our own organizations as mobile operators all the time, saying if these guys are willing to bet 10% of their company on a bet, strategic bet, why are we always struggling with business cases and trying to figure out the best ways or whether to invest at all? I think there's a learning there. If you're going to be actively in business, then you need to be prepared to take the bets when they come up, and RCS is not a silly bet. It's a very, very good operator bet. So I think the time for deliberating is way past over, and operators should really be doing this if they haven't already done it. Round the corner is actually right in front of us, and it's voice. What we have done so far with RCS is focused very much on messaging. And that's logical. That was the entry point, and that was also the area that needed rejuvenation in our services most and fastest. What we see now with voice is that there's a huge opportunity for us. Having installed the RCS base in significant operators across the world and getting the interconnection happening, we now have an opportunity to leverage that into the voice domain. We have VoLTE deployments happening out there, but that's really restricted to LTE and VoLTE to VoLTE, and what we can do is we can have a much richer experience incorporating VoLTE, but voice and video across the board, plus adding a lot more of the real communication and the sharing experiences into that. And that's something that this whole principle of RCS together with the voice brings us. So that's very much where we're going. We now need to get the services running and running well across this infrastructure, interoperating between the operators and really providing value to our customers. A call to action for people who are already in the program is to stick with it and to make sure that we keep going through the motions and doing the next step. So I mentioned before the integration of voice, which I think is extremely important for the future. It's a very logical thing for us to be doing as well, and it provides our customers with a complete communication experience, including video, and this is where we need to be. So stay with the program. The ones who are not yet on the program, why? Really, there are no good arguments not to be. Entry levels have come extremely low. There are options for people to start with a pretty much out-of-the-box solution, fully hosted, very low hurdle to access, very little things that you have to do yourselves. And you can also, from a cost perspective, you pay as you grow, if you will. So really, I see no real hurdles to introducing the service, and I would strongly encourage people to look at their options and join the party.